You're listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina! Woo!
Hello!
This is the podcast that looks at some of your favorite cult films as an alcoholic beverage.
Me today!
That's her today. Introduces someone we've never seen it. That's
also me today.
And me.
Yeah, and me and Uncle Henry hadn't seen it in a minute, so
I've never seen it.
close enough. And then we talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
This week we have a special guest. So
Yes, we do.
That's Uncle Henry. He's stepping in for Our Lady of Libations.
Thank you for having me. I love being on your podcast.
I love having you.
He's my favorite.
You're Justina's favorite.
Well, I feel a deep empathy and sympathy for her.
Nobody else does.
Well, they've asked you to watch some pretty lousy movies.
Thank you, Uncle
They
Henry.
have.
I mean, that's the premise of the show, so I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah.
I'm your American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always,
Justina, your Jellicle Jester.
she who knows no movies.
Admiral.
Without Stephanie, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
The balance is off.
It throws it off.
It does it all.
How can I act in the Stephanie role?
Just drink.
Well,
when the
all right.
drinking part comes.
Okay, all right.
Just drink.
Can do that.
So,
After watching this movie, necessary. Yeah.
Mhm.
you can find us on any fine podcast app. You'll probably listen to us on a podcast app now. Please rate and subscribe to help us out. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Cult Movie Cantina. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/Mopcast Network. And we're on TikTok at Mopcast.
When you ask people to rate us, are you ever asking them to send us like PG, PG-13, R ratings?
No.
We should. I would like to know how our episode is rating.
Okay. So, because I know they're all exploitative, so just in case, I just keep the
They
even.
won't be when we watch Toy Story.
All right. Well, then it depends on if Steph's here, because Steph will probably drop the F-bomb.
Yeah.
It's Steph.
Look, I'm here. Can we not drop bombs?
I don't plan to drop any bombs.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I mean, I have beverages.
We're also joined by producer number 2,
Hey, everybody.
which Uncle Henry named at
Yeah.
his last appearance.
Yep.
I don't remember that.
We were talking Star Trek, and I was telling about how I like Riker.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so from then on, he's become our number 2.
Well,
I did
like
not
that.
remember where that was from.
Who
so.
does? There's a clip of it.
Yeah.
I made a clip specifically of that. That's on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Because it was
It's adorable that
historic.
you think I have time to watch those. That's so cute.
So I don't have kids or not married, so I can devote my time there. I'm married to this, whatever this is.
That's fair.
Who does number 2 work for?
You guys.
Yay! So
We're
we've got
trash.
all our things out. This week we watched the Clint Eastwood classic, I dare say, Every Which Way But Loose from 1978. I'm really excited about your thoughts on this. I picked this movie because I wanted, Steph is out. She's in Iowa,
Idaho.
one of the I states.
But it's a beautiful state right next to my home state with snow, so she can suck it. I mean that in the best way possible. Have the best time.
Yeah, she's in a lot of snow right now.
Oh, so jealous.
And so, we had a spot open. I was like, oh, cool. We'll ask Uncle Henry if he'll come join us. And then originally we were going to do Smoking the Bandit 2. And the long lines of things that you've never seen the first version of a movie, we'll drop you in a sequel.
He likes doing that.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
However, Stephanie did Smoking the Bandit with us. And I kind of felt like she should be here for the second one.
That's fair.
So I was on YouTube, as I'm wont to be. And then I saw the trailer for Every Which Way But Loose. And I was like, oh, it's got punching, which is one of your favorite things.
It is. I love punching in films.
And then it's like, and a monkey. It's like, how can you go wrong with a monkey?
Okay, wait. I want to take a moment to clarify some details real quick. Uncle Henry, you did not pick this movie?
No, I did not.
Do you like this movie?
I have a lot of strong thoughts about this movie.
Let me just say that I watched this movie all the way through because you picked it. In my brain, I thought,
No.
and I was like, I don't know why he liked it because I did not enjoy it, but I did it for you.
All right. Well,
The fact that
I'm
you
honored.
didn't pick it makes me happy.
All right. So are we at a point in this podcast where we can talk about our thoughts and feelings on
give me
this
just
I'm
film?
sorry,
We're
I
almost,
jumped.
we
I
jumped
jumped.
a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm sorry.
We'll get there.
Hold the thoughts.
I'm super happy right now.
So-
Carry on.
You've been on the show like 5 times. We have a format.
You invite me every 5 years. So I already forgot he was number 2.
No, you have a standing invitation. You can come on anytime you want.
All right.
You're always welcome.
Uncle
All
Henry,
right.
next
We'll do
time I'm
every
going to
other
reach
Sunday.
out to you, and you're
Please.
just going to show up,
Please.
and we're not going to tell them that you're
Oh,
coming.
that would be, I'd love
he
it.
He will not like that,
Oh,
and that will be fine.
I will love
I'll just
it.
tell you. I'll let you know
I
ahead
would
of time.
love seeing you. It'd be a treat.
Get to the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Every Which Way We Lose came out in 1978, directed by James Fargo, who is a Spielberg guy and an Eastwood.
What?
Yeah, he's a Spielberg guy. So he worked with Spielberg on Sugarland Express and on Jaws,
Okay.
and then moved on to working with Eastwood, directed The Enforcer and Gauntlet and a couple other things.
Definitely a career path.
Written by Jeremy Joe Kronsberg, who did 3 other films,
That's a full-on name.
including the sequel to this one, Any Which Way You Can.
How did that happen?
Any Which Way You Can. The other one is also a movie called Going Ape. He wrote monkey movies.
Ugh.
He liked monkeys.
Was that his monkey?
Ugh.
No, it was not.
If I had a monkey, I'd make a bunch of monkey movies too.
It's like, we're going to make monkey movies. Stars Clint Eastwood as Philo Beddoe, Sandra Lockhart as Lynn Halsey Taylor, Jeffrey Lewis as Orville, Beverly D'Angelo as Echo. What? Echo?
That was fantastic.
It's my favorite joke in the movie. Walter Barnes as Tank Murdoch. Ruth Gordon, Oscar winner, 5-time Oscar nominee
Ugh.
as Ma.
She was one of my favorite characters.
I knew you would like her.
Okay.
I loved her so much, and I loved his brother so much.
Orville.
They were my favorite.
Hated both of them. Did.
Then Manus as Clyde the orangutan.
He wasn't my favorite.
He was.
He could have done better.
Could have done better. Do you have any fun facts for us?
I actually don't. I have something else. Because every time we do this now for this season, I do something different. Did you know, fun fact, to start the non-fun facts, in 1971, the game The Oregon Trail came out.
Did it come out in 71?
It sure did.
Wow.
So I have 10 trivia questions about the Oregon Trail that you two will be answering that takes you through the game. The trivia starts at the beginning and then you end at the end of the
Do
game.
you know the Oregon Trail?
No.
Well, this will be real fun then.
The Oregon Trail is a old computer game, apparently from 71.
hmm
Why did we pick 71? Did you think the movie came out in 71?
No, I looked up like facts from
Yeah.
the 70s.
Oh, facts from the 70s.
So Oregon
saw
Trail
that, and I
came
was
right
like-
after Pong.
I guess I didn't
All right.
realize. So it was an educational game where you played settlers from leaving Missouri, and you had to cross the trail to get to Oregon.
Okay.
And it was full of, there was hunting, and
Right.
you could dive dysentery. It was a whole thing.
Okay.
Question 1.
Yes.
Would you like me to give it to each one of you individually or let it be open to either of you to answer?
Open to either of us,
Okay.
please.
A game of Oregon Trail begins with a choice. As leader of your party, what is your occupation? Your decision affects several aspects of the game, from your available cash to the bonus added to your score. Members of which profession begin with the most money? We have options. Farmer. The banker and the carpenter begin with the same amount. Carpenter or banker?
Banker.
That's what I would say, banker.
It is the banker. That is correct. I think there's a description as to why.
Because they have the money.
Yeah, they got
So if I remember, the banker has the money, but they're really like terrible at other aspects of the game. I don't
Yep.
think they can hunt very well, and I don't think I
Yeah,
think
I
their
don't think
wagon falls apart.
They're,
quick.
all they
and
do
I-
is have money.
Right.
And
so
I
they're-
think I remember Carpenter. You can fix the wheel a lot more easily, or it'll last longer.
All right, ready for question 2?
Yes.
Sure.
To many players, one of the most fun parts of Oregon Trail has always been choosing the names of the party members, including the leader. How many people are there in each party? 4, 5, 8, or 2?
8.
5.
5 is correct. 8 is a lot of people to take care of Uncle Henry.
I've never heard of this game.
I just want you to know
I'm
if you're
just, I'm pulling
you're
this out
doing
of
it-
thin air.
You're doing pretty good.
you're doing
I'm
great.
trying, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get this thing going here.
Next time I see you, I will hand you the card game, The Oregon Trail, that is
Oh.
exclusive at Target for
Wonderful.
$15 because I almost bought it. All right, question 3. Before you can leave Independence, Missouri in 1848, you've got to purchase supplies for the trip. At Matt's General Store, a nifty little DOS interface allows you to spend your hard-saved cash on a variety of useful items. What doesn't Matt sell? Food, oxen, blankets, or ammunition?
Oxen.
Blankets.
Blankets is the correct answer. You know this game really well.
I played it a lot in middle school.
I really
a
hate that.
lot.
I
Like
mean,
on the old Apple IIes, it came on 2 floppy disks.
I mean, to be
You
fair,
got halfway to Oregon, then you had to switch discs.
also to be fair, what else were you gonna play?
Number munchers.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the 80s. That's all we had, kids.
All right. Question 4. I'm sorry, Uncle
I like
Henry.
your game
I
show
thought-
voice.
I really thought you would be familiar with the game. It's okay. It's okay. Because everybody kind of knows it. Maybe not the answer. I don't know any of these answers.
I don't know this stuff. I don't know it at all.
You're doing great. Number 4. It's time to leave Independence and head to Oregon. You've decided what month to depart, what pace to set your team, and what rations to give your family. What combination of pace and rations is most likely to result in disaster? Strenuous pace and meager rations, grueling pace and barebone rations, grueling pace and generous rations, or a steady pace and barebone rations?
The first 2.
I like the second one, whatever that one was. Strenuous and meager, I guess. Whatever that's the second one, right?
That was the first one.
First one. What's the second one? The second one was
Grueling pace and barebone rations.
yeah. That sounds like it's worse. Grueling sounds better. We're like
Which one are you picking?
grueling and bareback, bare bones.
Bareback. This podcast is just taking a turn for the worst. Which one did you pick, Uncle Henry?
Either of the first 2. I'll go with the first one.
So it was the grueling pace and the barebone rations.
Right,
So
because it sounds terrible.
make them struggle and you shall live. It's pretty much the end result there. All right. After watching the black and white pixelated scenery pass slowly by on your monitor,
It doesn't do that. It
the
just
appearance
screams.
of a river to cross adds a great deal of excitement.
Yes, you got to afford that bad.
Yep.
Based on local conditions, like the depth of the river and resources available, you can choose from several options for the river crossing. Which of these choices is never presented as a way to reach the other side? Pay a few dollars to take the ferry across, caulk the wagon and float it across, fell nearby trees and build a bridge, or ford the river.
Build a bridge. You don't do that.
Mm-mm.
How am I? Look, you played the game.
Right.
How am I supposed to? How am I supposed to outget? To me, caulking sounds just as stupid as building a bridge.
It doesn't always work. It's
Yeah, I
funny.
know.
It's funny to watch the boat, the wagon has a boat. If you caulk it, and it just kind of falls
All right,
apart.
well then, all right, I lose again.
And
So,
then
Uncle Henry, I need you to know that I did not expect Scotty to know this game this well. I forgot
I
that
am the
he
Native
is
American-
like
the
the
bo-
Rain Man.
I'm the Native
and
American pop
a
culture bear
nerd.
guide. It's
yeah.
in my title.
So, my apologies.
I'd be ashamed if
Now-
I didn't know stuff.
Now,
like
did you
this.
expect that I knew this game?
But if it helps, I played this game as well, and I
Yeah.
knew none of these answers.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I got all of them wrong when I read them myself. The one that is never presented is fell nearby trees and build a bridge. Apparently, you can caulk a wagon, but
Yeah.
not build a bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to patch them and fill them holes
Yep.
so they can float.
All right, now I have to get back to the last question.
Always Ford though.
Number 6. You continue making your slow progress across the country when disaster suddenly strikes in the text below. One of your party members, let's call her Mary, is suffering from dysentery. Which of these options, by itself, is most likely to help her recover? Do you need to stop the wagon and rest for a few days? Should you increase rations
Rations.
for the party, slow the pace of the wagon, or increase the pace so as to get to a doctor in the next town? Poor Mary has dysentery, guys. If it helps Uncle Henry, everybody dies from dysentery in this game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Pretty much. You either make it or you've died of dysentery.
Dysentery, cholera. There's a bunch of other ways you can die in this game.
basically dysentery.
That's where I learned what dysentery was when I was in 5th grade. And it was just
This is the only place I know it from. It's like,
rest.
so you're saying stop the wagon and rest for a few
Yeah,
days.
Yes.
That was going to be my answer, the first option.
Okay.
Mhm.
It is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Give poor Mary a break.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't-
because
I don't remember like getting her. I don't remember an option of like we got to speed up and get to the.
Yeah, I don't remember
get
being
her
able to get to a
I
doctor.
don't, I don't
Yeah,
remember a doctor option.
Well, despite your best efforts, Mary dies from illness.
That's true.
She
yeah.
almost always does. So your thoughts have turned to mortality and philosophy. Do video game characters go to pixel heaven? When the text window informs you that you're passing a tombstone by the side of the road, what does this mean? A previous player's party died at this spot and they left a what is that? EPITA.
Epitaph.
That one
Yeah.
for future players to read.
Well, that's an epitaph.
There's a tombstone shop here, and you can purchase one for Mary and a spare in case another person dies. A historical pioneer died at this spot, and you can find his or her biography on the tombstone. Or a historical battle between the U.S. Army and Native Americans occurred here, and you can read about it on the tombstone.
You're looking at me for.
I was if you're going to answer
Yeah,
first.
Oh, the first option.
It's correct. It's the previous players have died there.
Seriously, he just like of all the things to keep in your brain at all times, like this is what he's got up in there. Like,
'Cause-
just think of something more important that could be there, but it can't. 'Cause
Math.
Scotty
I
knows
don't have
the
math skills,
exact
guys.
outcome of every.
I understand.
So,
I understand.
but the reason why I remember that is because you can name your guy, your main guy, any kind of silly name. So when they and there was a lot of tombstones, a lot of people played the game because it saved it. So you would like, oh here lies Batman or here lies whatever,
and since it would be saved a
It's 'cause
lot on
he's a
school,
nerd.
and since it would be on school computers a lot, everybody at school would be
How do
playing
you know so much about it?
Because
Do
I
they
played
even
it.
play it at school when you were in school?
Yeah.
That's shocking a little bit.
he didn't play it like I played though. He
No, it was a little bit. Yeah.
he was not even.
It wasn't a DOS version.
All right, Uncle Henry, we're almost done. Just bear with me.
God bless you.
Number 8. As your journey progresses, you notice a countdown on your screen. Next landmark, 25 miles, 24 miles, 23 miles. Finally, your wagon arrives at Independence Rock, illustrated by a colorful traveling scene, a change of music, and some new options for your party.
I like
What-
to say on our Macs they were just that weird yellow green that I could barely see.
It probably wasn't. You probably just couldn't see the colors that were there. What can't you
No.
do at
No,
Independence Rock and other
I'm
landmarks?
just saying Perdido couldn't afford color screens.
Oh no, that makes sense too. So what can't you do at Independence Rock and other landmarks? Purchase goods and supplies, decide to settle nearby, learn about the history of the area, or rest before continuing on.
Settle.
That was going to be my answer. You can't stop and
Yeah, you haven't made it.
Because
Hang on.
we gotta go to Oregon. That is
Right.
correct.
You can't settle, but you can do the rest of it.
The Oregon Trail has now become Independence Rock Trail. We're gonna stay here, please. All right. Question 9. That I cut the question out of. So hold on one second because I gotta go down here. Your party is running low on food, so you stop the wagon, unpack the ammunition, and go hunting to replenish your supplies. A little stick figure, representing you, takes up a position among a few trees and boulders. You aim your musket using the arrow keys. You manage to shoot 3 buffalo, figuring they'll feed your party for months. Instead, when you leave, you discover you can't take all 3. What's the problem?
They're
Yeah,
too
I-
heavy.
Scotty White.
This is what the answer is. They're too heavy.
Uncle Henry's getting little enjoyment out of this, and you just took what little he had
Are
by
you?
by answering it before I could even give the
You know
options.
look.
A game warden appears and writes you a citation for overhunting. 1 of every 2 buffalo is diseased and unsafe for you to use as food. Wolves or mountain lions, depending on your location, dispute your claim to 2 of the carcasses. There's a weight limit on you, and you can only carry back to the wagon.
The weight limit on you.
Yeah.
Too heavy.
Yep. Thanks, Scotty.
That's my job.
Wait till the answers are read this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Last question. Finally, despite everything Oregon Trail can throw at you, you're almost done. You've reached the Columbia River, and all you need to do to get to Willamette Valley is to head downstream. You could take the toll road, but you find yourself short on cash. What is your other option? Float the wagon on a raft, steering it down the river while avoiding rocks. Leave the road and forge your own trail, keeping in mind the dangers of getting lost in the mountains as winter approaches. Leave the wagon and hike along the riverbank, abandoning whatever goods you can't carry. Return to the last landmark and sell your belongings until you have enough cash for the toll road. If you're a carpenter, you can also work for money.
You get on the river and you float down there till you get to Oregon.
I would have said 2. Number 2.
So you float the wagon on a raft, steering it down the river while avoiding rocks.
Yep.
And congratulations, we've made it to Oregon, and Uncle Henry will now go have himself a beverage. He was the uncle on the wagon the whole time, yelling at everybody for being so stupid all the time. I got you, Uncle Henry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for bearing with us. I'm sorry that Scotty knows everything.
No, I just play the game. All right, brothers and sisters, gather around. Philo Beto is a truck driver living in the San Fernando Valley. He lives in a small house with an orangutan named Clyde, behind that of his brother Orville Boggs and his mama, Ma. Philo makes money on the side as a bare knuckles fighter. He's often compared to a legendary fighter named Tank Murdoch. One night, Philo becomes smitten with Lee Halsey Taylor, an aspiring country music singer. He meets at the Palomino Club, a local honky-tonk. His relationship with her seems to be going well until one day she and her camper disappear from the trailer park. Believing that he is falling for her, Philo decides to set off for Lynn's home in Denver, Colorado. Along the way, he has a run-in with a motorcycle gang called the Black Widows, who incur Philo's wrath after 2 gang members insult him and Clyde at a traffic light. Philo chases them down, takes their bikes, which he repaints, repairs, and resells. And every attempt they make made to get even results in disaster. Philo also incurs the wrath of an LAPD cop named Putnam, and whom he gets into a fight with at the Palomino. Both the officer and the widows learn of Philo's trip to Colorado and head off to find him. Orville and Clyde accompany Philo to Denver, and on the way they meet a woman named Echo. Who? Echo. Who becomes Orville's girlfriend, like, immediately. They earn money along the way by booking fights for Philo. After a fight at a slaughterhouse, and the man holding the money tries to stiff Philo, Echo fires 2 shots from a 38, dead center into a side of beef. She lets the crowd know she knows how to shoot, saying, the second shot was to let you know the first one was no accident. The men hand over the money. Knowing that Philo has come to look for, Lynn helps the Black Widows lure him into a trap. Philo sees Lynn and attempts to talk to her, but finds himself surrounded by the Black Widows. He manages to fight most of them until Orville intervenes using a garbage truck with a dumpster hoist. He dumps all the motorcycles into the back of the truck. The Widows charge the garbage truck, but Orville gets away. Philo, Echo, and Orville then escape. Philo finally finds Lynn, and she reveals her true nature to him. Hurt by her callousness, Philo says that he is the only one dumb enough to want to take her further than to bed. Philo watches as Lynn erupts in a fit of rage, striking him repeatedly until she collapses in tears. Orville learns that Tank Murdoch, based in the area, is ready to retire after one more fight. Orville makes the arrangements, and Philo faces his elderly nemesis. During the fight, the crowd, initially pro-Murdoch, begins to insult him with some murmurs that Philo is going to be the next Murdoch. Philo lets his guard down, intentionally giving Murdoch a clear shot, knocking Philo to the ground for the count. Murdoch, having regained the crowd's esteem, is allowed to retire undefeated. Although he knows Philo let him win, Clyde, Orville, and Echo head home the very next day. Credits. Thoughts?
Atrocious film. just terrible. I was shocked at how bad. I didn't know that Clint Eastwood made such bad films.
I actually thought about that as the movie was when I was like, did he read this first?
I mean, this.
Wait, just wait.
This movie, for those that haven't seen it, and you don't need to, I guess it was 15 minutes in. I thought, wait, they're trying to make a comedy here? It was like a drama that had some pathos, especially toward the end, some really deep pathos, but they kept putting in comedy that wasn't just comedy, it was cartoonish, like as something you'd see in an animated film. You know, chasing somebody through a car wash.
There was no point to that.
The whole thing, it was nonsense. It was to enjoy this. If you, the listener, want to enjoy this film, you're going to have to drink. You're going to have several cocktails before the movie starts. Then you're going to be on the level that it was designed for. I thought this might have been fun if I'd had a couple of pops and I was with a group of people in movie theater. But this is just, it does not make sense. The tone shifts over and over again in this movie. I didn't like Ruth Gordon. They had the trope of the dirty mouthed old lady. I don't need to see Ruth Gordon taking the Lord's name in vain and cussing. And
She did a lot of that, didn't she?
It was rated PG, but it should have been PG-13.
There was no PG-13 at the time.
There was moments. There was one terrible sensual lovemaking scene that didn't belong in the film at all. Poorly done. It was poorly done from top to bottom.
Justina.
Oh no, I'm just gonna piggyback on everything he just said.
It was just
Outside
terrible.
of the fact that the mom was so foul-mouthed that she made me happy because I was so bored by the movie that it was fun. That part was fun for me, but I don't mind about the cursing, so I can understand that. I think the brother and him just picking up the echo, that was probably like them interacting together was probably my favorite. Their dynamic together was that to me made it enjoyable, but I didn't enjoy Clint Eastwood. And I'm pretty sure, unless I go back and do like a deep audit of his movies, that is the first thing I've seen with him in it.
He didn't do anything in this movie. It was a comedy where he wasn't comedic at all. And the drama, he barely acts in the film. It was one of his most wooden performances. It was almost like Lee Majors. It was almost like Lee Majors, who is a block of wood in most films.
Yes.
In this damn orangutan. They put an orangutan in there for no reason.
He was out acting him.
The orangutan is in the movie for comic relief only. Yeah. There's a horrible moment. I'm sure it was a big payoff in the movie theater where the orangutan flips the bird. We need to force an innocent animal into flipping the bird.
It doesn't know what it means.
That's exploitation, Scotty White. It's exploitation.
I'm not disagreeing.
If you're entertained by an orangutan, I pray that you're under the age of 10. Because if you're over the age of 10 and you're entertained by an orangutan flipping people off, well, I don't know. I guess the world is your oyster because you're entertained by everything. It was terrible. It was terrible.
So
I couldn't remember. And they made a sequel to this?
We'll get there.
More punching an orangutan?
Although they couldn't get the same orangutan because I looked up that particular orangutan.
We'll get to it.
Don't tell me you liked it, Scotty. Because
did.
there's nothing in
He
this
did.
for you to like.
I know he did.
It made Smokey and the Bandit look like Shakespeare.
It did. No, I 100% agree there. I 100% agree there. I will say I enjoyed the watch. However, if I never see it again, it's no great loss.
Didn't it look like somebody wrote a drama and then somebody came in after and said, "Hey, let's put in some funny stuff," and they just dropped this stuff out of nowhere.
I don't even know where the drama is. Really, it's kind of a mess.
Last 15 minutes is drama.
Yeah.
Last 15 minutes.
So it was like that. Like I have a great idea for a scene, and then like, well, we'll put a comedy around it, and we'll see what happens. I get that 100%.
I struggle with him doing this for a girl that he's fallen for, and he seems like a straight and narrow person. That's like, he seems very serious, and this is important to me. I'm going to go after it. She might be in trouble. But at the very beginning, he kisses one girl and then gestures to another. So it's conflicting based off his character.
I
That
had
bothered
no
me.
idea who he was or what he did other than fight people for the entire movie.
And drop off a truck and get in another one.
He's a bare knuckle fighter on the side. But if you look at Clint Eastwood's face in the film, he looks like he's never been touched ever. No one's ever landed a punch.
He's that good.
Yeah. Okay. So what he does for a living, he repairs vehicles. So Orville and him own a tow trucking
I
place.
saw Orville working on a truck.
Well, they own. If you look at the side,
if you look
at the side, they're a. Well, Fido's working on a truck too because remember he's working on the bottom of the truck and he picks it up and tells him to put the block on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're mechanics. And then he bare knuckle boxes on the side, and Orville sets up the fights. And so
He flips his hat when he gets into manager mode.
that's
Yes,
true.
I did. That was a wonderful bit of business in that.
Then he goes, all right, we're doing this. And then he got the dump truck. He was one of my favorite because he was the same throughout. Like his character was consistent. I enjoyed that.
I did too. I have some other weird issues about it. Like, I'm not sure why they decided they needed a lot of bad guys in this. That there's like,
But there aren't any real bad guys.
no,
in
but
it.
the antagonists are the gang members of the biker gang, the Black Widows.
He's
It's
accidentally
like the
upset.
Blues Brothers.
Right, it was very much like the Blues Brothers. And then
Yeah.
like, oh, then we'll also get the cops involved. I'm like, pick one, just pick one. We don't need all
And
of
then
them.
also the lady.
Because the
she's
stuff-
also the bad guy.
The stuff with the
Yeah.
deputy or the sheriff and the other guy, it drains from what little life this story has.
No, it's the least menacing heavies. It was like made for children's television.
It was, and it was like, why are we pulling away from this? At least the bikers were silly and kind of had something going for them. But this other stuff, I just kept getting like sidetracked to what. That being said, there are things in it I find funny and charming. I like where Philo decides that, well, he's kind of has a girlfriend, and Orville's kind of got a girlfriend.
That was on my least favorite
So
part.
they're like, we got to go get someone for Clyde.
That was
Like,
stupid.
he had such a
That
deep,
die.
he had such a,
stupid part.
he had
But
such a deep moment. It was like, we have to get up right now.
Right now, because you don't think he doesn't understand. I was dying.
Listen,
we could cut that out of the movie and save some time.
I like that part. It's
Horrible.
One of the
If
few
I
things
was
I
Echo, I'd be like, I'm not getting out of bed to take a
But
monkey
she
to
did.
get
She was
laid.
like, well, someone
And
needs
they
to
made a mockery of Charlie Rich's behind closed doors for comedic effect
Right.
with an orangutan.
They did. It
Getting
was
it on
great.
with an orangutan he'd never even met or married. Fornicating orangutan. Oh, Scotty White's all in on it.
Hold on, wait. I don't think orangutans are allowed to get married. I don't think that's biblical.
All right, look, it was a terrible scene, and you were all thumbs up for it.
I was thumbs up. That one of the few ones I was thumbs up for. And I do like the fight at the end between him and Tank.
I did enjoy that.
I like that moment.
that integrity.
Well,
Where he
that was one of the rare acting moments from Clint Eastwood.
Absolutely.
Rare acting from Clint
Absolutely. Not one of my favorites we've done on this podcast,
No.
but I thought it would be fun. And it was kind of fun to watch. But here's the things that I'm really fascinated by this movie. First of all, since you've never seen really other Clint Eastwood movies,
I'm pretty sure I've never seen another. I know him.
but I know you
I've-
have,
I've a lot many. In fact, when I first bought a VCR,
right?
the first thing I went out to rent was Fistful of Dollars.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, Spaghetti Western
Yep.
started my VCR.
Did you have one of those race cars that rewound it for you?
No, I did not.
My grandma did. It was
I did not have
fantastic.
that. I couldn't afford it.
I don't know
bought
how
my
she
first
could.
VCR on a rent to own basis.
Oh,
I was very poor.
Was it front loading or top loading?
It was front loading.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Respect.
please, you were about to say something else about this horrible thing.
There's a point in Clint Eastwood's career where he looks like a young man,
Yeah.
and then there's a point in his career where he looks like he's 85,
Oh, I love that you're bringing this up.
including this film. He looks like he's 85 years
Yeah.
old in this movie.
Yeah.
I made
With
that
dyed
point.
hair job. He looks very old and like
You think so? He looked about 45, 50 to me.
So when he took off his shirt and he was walking away and you saw his back, I was like, Jennifer she fell asleep in the movie, and I love my wife, so I let her stay asleep. But
you go wake up and suffer with
well,
me.
at first I was like, did you really just fall asleep? And then she fell back asleep, and I was like, fair. So I let her sleep. But he was walking away, and I was like, oh, you can tell that he's older based on his, like, just the way his back looked. He looked older. So we did research. He was 48 when the movie was made.
Yeah.
He looked 48
yeah.
to me
He looked-
as an old person.
Right.
It was just really interesting because based on his face, he does look younger, and it was made in the 70s, and he's still alive. So it was that. How old is he? And
Right.
He's like in his 90s.
He's in his 90s.
Yep.
He's in his 90s. The other thing I find fascinating about this movie is that this movie fundamentally changes Clint Eastwood's career
For better or worse.
for better, I think.
How?
Yeah, I would like to know how as well.
So after this film, Clint Eastwood is also a director, and he changed his complete directing technique because of this movie.
Because he learned something bad about it and he wanted to grow as a person.
No,
Oh gosh.
he learned something good from it.
What?
So
The
this
humor in tearing up bikes.
nope. Clint Eastwood directs since the 80s.
Yeah.
This is how he directs. He wants complete quiet on his set, and he tells his actors begin, and then he lets them do their stuff, and then he very quietly says end. And the reason why he does this is
Was it because of the monkey?
because of the monkey.
Mhm.
They couldn't have loud stuff
Yep.
for the because the monkey would freak out. So it was very quiet on the set.
And then we would have that Nope movie.
Right. And so it would be, very quiet on the set. And so he treats all his actors like orangutans.
But I bet it was a different sort of dynamic
Oh,
to that
no, yeah.
to that sort of setting where everything is so loud and they're screaming all the time.
Right.
To have it more quiet, I
Because
bet
you've
it
worked on
would.
sets and you know how chaotic it can be.
Look,
But that's like a big thing with Drew is like a lot of people slam the clapboard and
Mhm.
it's like soft sticks because there's no point in like slamming it
Right.
in front of something because it's jarring
Right.
and it doesn't help.
well, why did he do this movie?
Okay.
Why did he do this? Because he's done stuff that many people think is very high quality. This was terrible.
Oh, let me get to that. So the script for this movie was originally intended for Burt Reynolds.
Right. It
That-
looks
that- it's a Burt
exactly
Reynolds
like a
script.
Hal Needham.
Right.
In fact, Hal Needham would have actually not. It would have looked better. It wouldn't have looked like a cartoon.
No, right. It came through Clint Eastwood through Clint's secretary to pass on to Burt because they're friends. And so Clint read it and loved it. And the reason why is because he looked back to the year before and looked at how much money that Smokey the Bandit made. And so he wanted this to be his Smokey and the Bandit. And so this is his first comedy.
You say that loosely. Common.
This is
And that explains why it's packed with all that country music.
Right.
that
It's
is-
so much.
Yeah,
that
like
is
it's trying to be Smokey and the Bandit, but you can't recreate Smokey and the Bandit
So-
because Smokey and the Bandit 2
Well,
doesn't even
they
recreate.
did mid and slow tempo songs too, which
Right.
didn't make
Any
any
sense.
damn sense at all.
The other thing, so like this is his first quote unquote pure comedy theatrical movie. Also adjusted for inflation, this is the biggest movie of Clint Eastwood's career.
Okay,
This movie
Out of
made
all of them.
out of everything he's done.
I would
That
say
is real depressing.
late 70s, an orangutan flipping the bird. That was probably a huge crowd pleaser in
So,
this country.
and here's why I'm skipping ahead a little bit. So, this is a Warner Brothers movie.
Yep.
Because Clint was on contract with Warner Brothers. Most of the stuff with Warner Brothers. 78 is also the year that Superman came out.
Mhm.
The Superman Act came out prior to this, just by a week or so. And so all the major theaters in the country got Superman. But back in the 70s, there were a lot more movie theaters. There were a lot of mom and pop movie theaters. And so all the big cities got Superman. All the rural areas got this. And they ate it up.
I mean this in the best way possible, with no judgment at all.
Right.
I feel like this sort of movie would do better with more common people than in
Absolutely.
a bigger
Right.
theater.
Mhm.
And so I bet it did a killing down here in Alabama.
oh, I'm sure.
Bay Minette had theaters back then. I bet
Oh,
it did a
just-
killing in Bay Minette.
Just seeing Clint Eastwood drive down the road with an orangutan next to him.
Right. It's just
You didn't need dialogue.
right.
for some
I mean, it
towns.
just was just that kind of movie.
What about the sequel? Was it any better?
No,
Did anybody help with the script?
No, it's the same. It's the same writer. There's a new director, but same writer.
New director could have made a difference.
I haven't seen the sequel, so
I'm very curious about what the plot would be since
So-
this barely had one.
we may save that for a future episode.
Uncle Henry.
What?
He asked too many questions about the sequel. Now he's going to do it to us.
yes.
I won't be involved in that.
Oh, you will.
Movie cost $5 million to make.
Are you kidding? That's the monkey. That budget's for the
roughly
monkey.
$5 million.
And all the bikes they destroyed.
Yeah, the bikes and the trucks and the monkey.
Oh, and the magic shotgun that was like a cannon
Right.
instead of an actual.
Also, those
shotgun.
bikes are the weakest bikes. You look at them, they explode.
Yes.
And they did.
They did. Cost $5 million. Opening weekend, it made $10 million.
Jesus.
Worldwide, it did $85 million and 78 funds. I mean, that's tickets were like less than
Wow.
$1, and just was
He was already a big star.
already a big
Yeah, well,
star,
yeah,
but
'cause he-
but
yeah.
like they came out for this movie.
'Cause at that point, he had done the Dollars trilogy, and he had done a couple of the Dirty Harry films. I think by this point,
He
Play
just
Misty
doesn't
for
have the
me, and-
face for any
which is
sort of
one of my
comedic
favorite
type
of
of
his.
thing.
No, he is.
no.
I'm serious. I had a. It dawned on me. Wait, this is supposed to be funny. You know, when they go
His
through a
face
car
didn't ever-
wash,
it's
I was so
it's-
mad.
it's-
15 minutes in is when that car
it's
wash.
more
scene was.
silly than funny.
Worse than silly.
But he never knew it, is what
It's
we're
definitely
saying.
no Blues Brothers. So, according to the book, Clint Eastwood, Hollywood Loner from '92, Eastwood called Clyde the orangutan one of the most natural actors I've ever worked with.
Okay, all right.
But you had to get him on the first take because his boredom level was very limited.
Clyde was better than anybody in the biker gang.
That's true.
He was better than the two law enforcement officers.
The leader of the biker gang, is that Mad Eye Moody?
No.
Is it not?
Is this also why Clint Eastwood only likes doing one takes on his films?
Yes. Let's see. Menace the orangutan once got upset and grabbed Clint Eastwood while he was driving the truck. The apes trainer were able to calm him down by speaking to him over the two-way radio. That has to be terrifying.
It has to be, yeah.
This is the third
He
movie.
should have drove better.
This is the third of 6 movies that he made with his real life girlfriend Sandra Locke.
How many? It was the
They made. This is the third of 6.
third of 6. Okay.
Which one was Sandra Locke?
She's the main love interest.
The
one
woman that broke his
his
heart.
heart.
That was like essentially a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the.
He bought her an
Sing-
outfit.
He did buy her an
Or
outfit.
hustler. is the
Hustler.
word they used.
I guess that, well, she did sleep with him though, so I guess
Yes,
either would
but
work
She was ripping people off
with her
from town to
body
town.
and her voice. Like a snake.
Weird fact. So Ruth Gordon, who played Mom, she has won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, I've seen that.
That the same year Sandra Locke lost it in that category to her for a role in The Heart is the Lonely Hunter. So there's a weird connection there. The song "Every Which Way But Loose," sung by Eddie Rabbitt, was written by Steve Dorff, who's Stephen Dorff's the actor's father, and Mobilian Milton Brown.
Okay, he has written songs with John Ed Thompson.
Right.
Mhm.
So Milton Brown
I
was.
think they wrote Look at Them Jaguars.
Yeah.
I may be wrong about that, but
And here's some facts about them. So, 79, the title song "Somebody Rabbit" top Billboard's hot country single for 3 weeks. Song debuted at number 18 on the chart, was the highest debut on the chart since it began in July '73. The song also went number 1 spot on the Canadian radio state. It hit the top 100 of the adult contemporary and the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart. The movie and its sequel used Clint and Clyde's first name alliteration of its 2 main stars in its promotions for marketing. In true Hollywood style, Clint Eastwood got top billing. And since he was the biggest star, while Menace the Orangutan had to settle for second, man. I guess he had to get, more bananas for that.
It takes a lot of money to flip people off.
The weirdest thing for me is like how destructive he is, like weirdly destructive. Like when they're chasing the widows and he's got the little whatever the road paver scraper or whatever, and he drives it on the train for no reason, and it's just weird.
well, no, that whole sequence,
It's very cartoonish.
early in the movie, the cartoon chase through the car wash that
Mhm.
led to like where they're tarring a road or something.
All right.
So many things were done that would have Clint Eastwood locked up. That you would have, because he stole earth moving equipment or something. He would have been. The movie should have ended there with him in jail.
Orangutan taken away. Clyde, Menace the Orangutan is still alive with us, by the way.
How long do they live?
I don't know. Caleb, do
Producer,
you want to check
number
that
2?
Yeah, I can check that out.
out?
He's retired now.
Yeah, he retired shortly after this. He went back he was from a group of trainers out of Vegas. He went back to them. He's now on a sanctuary where Michael Jackson's Bubbles the chimp is. And so there's an animal sanctuary for like Hollywood pets, and that's where he's at.
They live about 35 to 45 years.
So he's getting there.
Was he like a baby when this was
He was
made?
3 when he was made this movie.
Oh, he's an old man now.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has a lady there.
And then while the script was made for Burt Reynolds in mind, he does work with Burt Reynolds later. Manus. Works on Cannonball Run too.
Yep.
Over the orangutan?
Yeah, he's in Cannonball.
He's the
Run, too.
limo driver.
Is there any information we can find if Clint Eastwood goes to visit the orangutan? Like if they're buddies still.
That feels
I
like
would
that
bet
would be a nice
500 that they
reunitement
would
video.
never.
I would be with you on that one. The way I've understand Clint, he's not very
But he's not.
affectionate.
Yeah, no.
I mean, clearly you can tell by his face.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this movie came out in the late 70s, so I don't have weekend box office results, but I do have yearly box office, so we'll play that game. Do we want to go from? We'll go from 10 to 1. I don't know why I asked. We always go 10 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Are we closing the tab?
Yeah, we've been
But
closing.
we didn't do the libation.
Oh, sorry. We need to do
Libation.
libation. Yeah, sorry.
Like you're about to just close us out, but we haven't drank yet.
Yeah, so let's do it. Let's do libation. Sorry, I got sidetracked when we want to
We're
talk.
almost at the end of the show.
Yeah, we might as well drink.
I know.
Sorry,
It's
the
all
order
right.
got switched up when he was asking questions.
I apologize.
No.
fine.
It was interesting.
This movie, it confounds me.
It does me
'Cause
too.
It doesn't fit Clint Eastwood's career.
And then he made
at
two of them.
all.
He made two of them, and then
It doesn't make me want to watch it again.
It also,
Exactly.
but it's also weirdly like in a string of quote unquote like Clint Eastwood comedies he did in the 80s, like Pink Cadillac and stuff. That just
I don't even remember that.
that's him and Bernadette Peters.
Ugh,
Yeah, and so
what a bad combo.
right. Jim Carrey's in that movie as a stand-up comedian. It's the first time I ever saw Jim Carrey. And
How many comedies did Clint Eastwood do?
oh, a few. Like
Really?
yeah, the 80s has got a bunch of them. And then he's
Who would want to cast him in a comedy? Did he make them himself?
well, he's had the star power. He just want to do different things. And so the 80s he experimented.
It must be that he wanted to try to replicate Burt Reynolds,
Right.
because Burt Reynolds was having fun and making a ton of cash doing these films.
There's Pink Cadillac, there's The Rookie, there's City Heat.
City Heat wasn't a comedy. Was it?
It's sort of him and Burt.
That's where Burt Reynolds got hurt.
Yeah, it's them doing the bootleggers. It's kind of it's I would definitely call it silly. And then of course any which way you can. Then it got kind of serious after all that. He started doing True Crime, Space Cowboys, Blood Work, $1 Million Baby, all that stuff coming out in the 90s after Unforgiven and The Line of Fire, which is dope. But yep, still with us.
All right. So for our libation, we found, I say we because my wife helped look it up, both a drink called the orangutan and a drink called the original cowboy. Both took the same ingredients. This one's a little different because it calls for soda water. So I do have it's not necessarily soda water, but a carbonated twist of lime, Topo Chico, or I can use Sprite. Not a sponsor.
Yeah.
If you prefer that. So what is involved in this is a whiskey, and I chose a smoky one because it's repeatedly brought up how smoky the bars are. So I brought a smoked whiskey, fresh lemon juice. It's not fresh. You guys are just going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Simple syrup. And then, of course, the soda water. I do also have. Oh, wait. A cherry.
She's got elaborate. Do
Yeah.
you like these ingredients?
I just, if you don't mind, could you make mine stronger than normal?
I certainly can. I understand completely.
I finished watching the movie a couple of hours ago.
I also brought
heavy on your heart.
just
It
in
is.
case this isn't hitting the spot just right, because we're talking about, I'm gonna say a Western. It felt like a Western. There was a lot of cowboy talk, a lot of country music. To me, that makes a Western. So I also
don't
have
call him
beer.
I don't think he's a
So,
cowboy, but they all call him that. Wears a
I will
hat, beats
mix
people
this up and then I will pass it out.
I
It
saw
was set in California, right?
right.
LA.
Yeah,
But they would say, let's head east, and east was Denver.
right. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Peanuts are good.
Oh yes, I also brought snacks, peanuts, because it led to one of the fights.
The first fight.
Was it the first one?
Yep.
The first not paid one? Just that happened in a
yeah,
bar.
because
The first 5 minutes, there was a fist fight, and I had such high hopes. I really did. I thought I'm going to like this. There
even
was
the
a
fights
fight
weren't
in
that
the first 5
interesting.
minutes.
Like minus the
No, well, the fights were like most movie fights, unrealistic.
Right. I did like the last fight, but and the reason why the last fight happened like that, there's a trend ever since Rocky came out is that your hero had to lose a fight. And so they like Clint Eastwood was like, yeah, I need to lose that last fight. So that's what they wrote in the script.
Well, they had to make him likable.
Right. Which is hard to do in this one.
Mhm.
You kept waiting. I kept waiting for him to show any characterization
Yeah.
other than he loved his orangutan.
He did
And
love fight.
he was really crazy about this strange woman he met.
Who I knew was shady from the beginning. I was just like, I don't trust her.
She has a friend.
Who doesn't really have a part either.
He looks like a child.
Podcast listeners were watching the drink be mixed.
Mhm.
The
No
movie was
pressure.
so bad that we're all waiting for the libation to erase the memory of it.
That's what we're waiting
We
on.
just
If
have
it's
nothing.
strong enough, then our brain cells will not retain the movie.
Yeah, we
Then
have
I
nothing
can
else
watch it
to
again
talk
when
about
I'm
it.
in a
Yeah.
senior citizens home and hate it even more.
It'll come on and you won't be able to change it. It's going to be the problem.
That's right.
And then you'll be angry.
The devil is on my shoulder right now saying, watch any which way you can. Watch any which way you can. See if a new director helped.
It has a lower rating on IMDb.
A lower rating.
Yeah, it's like a.
Why? Because it had too much plot.
Yes.
I'm not there yet.
I do think there's a part where this plot does get in the way.
What?
And I mean, I think plot does get in the way of those movies. There's so many movies about a guy who fights with a monkey and stalks a girl.
I think my angriest moment was the fishing comedy.
Out of nowhere.
Yes. I thought you are wasting. You've built up over the course of 30 or 40 minutes these police officers chasing him only to have it end like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's weird. Like, again, I don't know why they're in the movie. It's like,
What makes this worse is this is a time where film costs money, so they're wasting money doing that.
It did look like somebody was trying to replicate what Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham did in all their movies. That's what
absolutely,
it looked like.
it
A
is
copycat. Poorly done.
poorly executed. But again, at the end of the day, it still made $85 million. So who do we know? I mean, like, who are we to say? Like, I mean, that's a lot of money for 78.
Yeah, I'm looking at the sequel. It did just as well.
Money wise?
Yeah. $15 million budget. 70.7 million North
Jesus.
American box office.
And that was 1980, right? That came out in 80.
Yeah,
So the first
1980.
one was 5 million, the second one was 15
For-
million.
Because
All that was more
money-
vehicles to
well,
destroy.
no, more money for Clint. Clint got
Oh,
Clint got a boost on that.
Yeah, he
He's got to be half that budget, right? He's about
Absolutely.
got to be 7 or 3,
yeah, because it was
at least 3 has to be for 80.
All right. Would you prefer Topo Chico or Sprite?
Your choice.
Well, I'm going to open the Topo Chico.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
I'm going to try
Do-
to open.
yeah.
Do we have a bottle opener? I usually do.
Number 2, your teeth.
Number 2.
We need your teeth as a bottle opener.
Do you know who normally does?
Stephanie usually has a water over.
So we might have
Yeah,
to
you-
use Sprite then.
We'll just do Sprite.
In my other bag.
Hey, I got my bottle opener.
You got one?
Number 2 comes in for handy.
Scotty, it's fun. This is the first time you've asked me in here with a really bad movie.
It won't be the last.
There have been some mediocre. Star Trek 4 worse than I had remembered it.
Better than this movie.
Oh, by leaps and bounds.
I prefer whales over monkeys, apparently.
Well, the whales weren't trying to flip us off. That was
Yeah.
not the message.
I mean,
from
they
the
have
Yeah, the
flippers.
whales are
That's all
trying
they
to-
do is flip you off. But
All right, try this out. Oh, would you like a cherry?
Too late.
Oh.
You want a cherry?
Yes, please.
If you want it, I might just bring it over there. I've made a royal mess.
Scotty White, is any of this going to be edited?
some of it will be.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'm getting the cherry. It's a shame that Stephanie couldn't have been here to share her thoughts on the orangutan. Would have been. Would she have been an expert on orangutan?
It depends on how much you had to drink.
Okay.
Yes. Probably.
Nice little,
I've made a mess, but
nice
there we
little
are.
close up.
I feel like I need to come stir everybody's.
Oh, I've been.
Do you
managing.
taste the liquor at all?
I have not tried. I was waiting.
Let me,
Oh, yeah.
give that a stir for you.
Thank you very
Uh-oh.
much.
Oh, you're most welcome. I hope it's delicious. If not, I have beer. You got it, Caleb?
Here, I'll just come to you.
I forgot how much I like peanuts. I don't eat them
Well,
all.
these are. I don't usually have them like this.
I don't either.
I like them with the shell.
Feel like I'm at Logan's. And
All right, now that I'm
His family takes the shells and puts them in smoothies.
All right, ready?
cheers.
Cheers.
It's very smoky.
Yeah. I like it, kind of.
What you think?
It tastes medicinal.
In a good way?
Yes, absolutely.
You like it?
Smoky whiskey's not my favorite, so it's okay.
It's gonna cure our every which way but loose
But
hangover.
it does taste medicinal. Like you almost need like the hair of the dog. This is literally, if I thought of hair of dog, it would be this drink right here.
This
Like a
This
cowboy.
sounds like something. This tastes like something you'd get at a doctor's office if they were serving cocktails at the doctor's office.
In the 70s.
Yes.
It's well done. And I made a huge mess to do it. It's fine. All right, we can go ahead and close the tab now.
We've all made messes today, so
Yeah.
I got a pile of peanut shells on here. That's probably gonna last on the next show.
I might just take this tablecloth with me.
And we won't need it for 2 weeks. All right, closing the bar tab. Well, like I said, the movie was made for $5 million and made 10 and grossed worldwide. Made 10 on the opening weekend and grossed worldwide 85. Normally, I would tell you what the weekend was, but Box Office Mojo doesn't have that. They start in the early 80s having the weekend results, and there's a way to find the 70s, and I haven't figured it out yet. So we're gonna do the top 10 movies of 1978,
Okay.
guessing which one they are. So
Okay.
number 10 is an animated film.
Oh gosh. Beauty
That-
and the Beast.
It's an animated film that was later turned into a large franchise that eventually wins Oscar for Best Picture.
Okay. It is The Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings. I count that.
Because that would be I forget the director's name now, but I know that one. It's one of my favorite adaptations.
Number 9 is a superhero film. Superman, right? Was
Superman was only number 9.
number 9.
Yeah, I figured it would be higher too.
Number 8 is the biggest hit of 1977.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was the number 8 movie of 78. That's how much staying power it had.
I've always resented Star Wars coming out at the same year as Smokey and the Bandit.
I resented it coming out the same year as Damnation Alley. You ever seen Damnation Alley?
No.
Oh, that's the next one on the list. That's your next time coming to see us.
Okay. I don't even know what it is.
Damn.
Probably perverted, right?
Nope. Damnation Alley stars George Papard
Okay.
from A-Team.
All right.
Jean Michael Vincent.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good. It's going downhill.
Jackie Earl Haley, and Paul Winfield.
Okay.
So, and it's fun.
Okay.
That's what they all
Better
say.
than Every Which
Yeah.
Way But Loose?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably not by much, but I do think it's better. I think we're going.
He also enjoyed the scene
It's
of getting the
not-
monkey laid. So
I did.
because it's funny.
you got to just.
Look,
It was not fun.
look,
gotta
you
take
gotta
it
look out
lightly.
for your bro, and they're looking out for their bro, and I respect that. You know.
I'm watching this thinking I need this movie to pick up the pace. What are they
And then it
doing?
did.
Going to a zoo?
They're trying to help a brother out. What's wrong with that? Number 7, probably the biggest dance movie of the 70s.
Of the 70s?
Yeah, the 70s.
Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night
Yeah.
Fever.
It was only number 7?
Number 7.
Some of these should be way higher.
Number 6 is a sequel to one of the largest blockbusters in the 70s.
Jaws 2.
Jaws 2 film, which
Mm.
we done on this podcast. Number 5 is a movie that stars Warren Beatty.
Shampoo.
No.
Heaven Can Wait.
Yes.
I appreciate Uncle Henry being here.
Yeah,
I have not been able to do any of these.
The last
movies.
time
That
I
might have
watched
been-
a lot of movies was the 70s.
Number 4 is this movie, Every Which Way But Loose.
This beat Star Wars.
And Superman.
Yes. Superman came out late that
Wow.
year.
As it was said earlier, the common man
And Star Wars
and
came out a year,
woman appreciated
No,
every
And
which
Star
way
Wars
but
came
loose.
out
Star
the
Wars was the year
year
before.
before,
So that
so
one I can
the
excuse
fact that
that.
Star Wars has staying power for 18 months.
Superman too cerebral.
It actually kind of was. That's what the reviews
Marlon
were.
Brando was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is a movie partially filmed down here in Mobile.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Yep.
Number 2 is a John Landis movie written by Harold Ramis that kind of launches their careers.
Stripes.
No, one before it. Stripes is 80
Mm.
or 81.
Meatballs.
No, that's Bill Murray.
I don't know which one it was.
I'll give you a hint. Shout.
Light it all out.
Not that shout.
Come on.
Oh, Animal
Oh.
House.
Animal House,
Animal
yes.
House, yeah.
Filth. Filth almost was number 1. Now that was, even though it's very filthy and disgusting, that had actual humor versus Every Which Way.
Absolutely. Actually, Belushi's hilarious in it.
I don't think it had a line in it.
He had a couple. And number 1 is a musical.
Grease.
I don't have to give you more hints. And that's where we are.
Grease lightning, go, Grease.
Hey, what are your opinions on Grease?
Grease is a disgusting concept because the whole movie, people are that there's a girl that's good, and they finally, by the end of the movie, they convince her to be one of the bad girls.
Yep, that's true.
It's
Yep.
bad. It's a terrible movie.
You seen Grease?
Yes. I have. So when I was growing up, I had maybe 3 VCRs that I was given. Not VCRs, VHSs. I'm sorry. I had a TV with a VCR built in, and one of them was Grease, and
She
one
was
of them
fancy.
was The Babysitters Club, and PJ Sparkles.
What
So,
is
which is
PJ?
an animated kids show. It's one of my
So
favorites.
Grease was the highlight.
So I would watch Grease a lot. So I know every song. Later on, I got all the I Love Lucy's on VHS.
What a
'Cause
wonderful
she's my
education
favorite.
for you.
She's probably like one of my role models.
So, what did you think? Did you listen to the podcast, Turner Classic Movies podcast about Lucy? There was
No.
like 8 or 9. You got to listen to it.
Turner Classic did it.
Turner Classic did. You know the host on Turner Classic Movies,
Which
the young
one?
guy.
Mankiewicz?
Yes,
Ben Mankiewicz. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
He does like an 8 or 9 part thing where they use
Really?
interviews with her, interviews with her brother, all of this archival stuff. It's incredible.
I will go listen to it.
Yes.
She seriously is one of my role models. We have the kids book. They make all those books now about people that kids
Yeah.
can read. We have that one. I have it on DVD now, VHS.
It's called The Plot
love her.
Thickens, Lucy.
The plot thickens. It's incredible. Her
Plot thickens.
the early career of Lucy in New York as a young woman, that alone is fascinating.
Right.
Mhm. Her and Charlie Chaplin. Those are my peeps.
Well, interesting.
Favorite Chaplin movie is
Oh, I don't know. Instinctively, I just thought The Kid,
City Lights for me.
but I don't know if that's my favorite because I enjoy so much of his. The Kid was good though.
Kid was good. City Lights is my favorite.
Okay.
The gold, is it the Gold Rush? The Gold.
Have you watched Unknown Chaplin?
I don't think so.
You must find the documentary series Unknown Chaplain. They found his rehearsal footage for lots of his movies where he's working on his routines.
Okay, hold on. I gotta make some notes.
Unknown
Scotty,
Chaplain.
will you send these to me so I'll forget?
Yes, ma'am.
It was wholesome, even though Charlie Chaplin probably not wholesome at all off camera. But watching him figure out what he was doing on, and you get to see it on film,
What was it
the
called?
rehearsals.
What was it called again?
Unknown Chaplain.
Unknown.
And then the other one, the
Plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
I got that one.
So I enjoy theater, and I was talking a lot with Drew because he enjoys wrestling. So we were talking about wrestling and how it's almost like a performance on stage, but it's just done in a different context. I was like, listen, if I was ever a wrestler, I would go out and be a chaplain-based wrestler where I would win or lose based on how they wrote me, I guess. But it would be antics like I would unintentionally win. Like you just duck at the right time and they punch themselves in the face. Like that's the kind of wrestler I would want to be. I
Have
would
them
want to
run
be
into the ladders by accident.
yeah, like I would want to be a chaplain-based wrestler where I'm just constantly hurting someone on accident.
Well, I do happen to know someone who owns a wrestling.
No.
company.
Yeah.
No, I said if I did. I said if I did.
I mean, we
Shut it down.
We can
I'm
make
just
it
saying,
happen.
I can say I can make it like with a phone call right now.
Just
Because
get big
he just asked me to
shoes.
call him.
Have
in a
you
little
been
bit.
to local wrestling a lot?
I
lately?
have not.
Have you been to one of the Tommy's, the Diamond Entertainment?
No, but I about 10 or 15 years ago, I went to some local wrestling in Grand Bay.
Uh-huh.
And it occurred to me when I was watching it that you didn't need to speak the language. You didn't need to know English to get what was happening because there was a storyline going on.
Mhm.
And it just seemed timeless. Like early mankind could have been entertained with it, and so could people far after us.
Well, I will say that Tommy Wedgens, who owns Gamers and Geeks, also owns Diamond Entertainment Wrestling.
Yes.
And he has put out a wonderful product. He's got really good, talented wrestlers.
Where do they wrestle?
They wrestle right now at the Scottish Temple.
Okay. Right.
They do once a month there, and then also he just bought another company that does wrestling down in Foley. So he's doing it like twice a month now.
Is this all going to be cut out of your podcast?
No, this is all it.
What? How big a crowd shows up for that?
300.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
He does.
That's
That is
really
pretty
good.
good.
He's got a good loyal following.
I'm going to have to go see it.
Yeah, I'll take you and I
When,
go.
when I went those years
You can
ago
go.
I would like to go as
in
well.
Biola Battery, my favorite part. This is very divergent for every which way
Sure,
we
that's
listen.
what this
Yeah.
part. This is the part of the podcast where we're at.
And I apologize for holding the mic.
Yeah, just get
You
down
do
with
Feels
it.
dramatic.
And it's
Brown.
fine.
There was a wrestler that was in his early 60s that he didn't want the crowd to know how old he was, and so that's why he wore a mask. He was afraid to take his mask off
Right.
because he would look too old in the ring.
Mm.
It was a lot of fun.
They have really interesting characters, and the one I currently like is John Breslin, who dresses up like Robin from Batman
Yeah,
and wrestles like that. And
that's not an issue.
I think at this level it's not. He's like Robin adjacent. I'll put it like
Yes,
like
Robin and
Like,
Jason.
are the colors like just off a little
I
bit?
mean
Like if you ordered Robin from Wish.com.
right. If you go to Robin from Wish.com, right?
Okay, cool. I get it.
What's
So
Walmart's
just
off-brand?
enough
It's
to-
the off-brand Walmart Robin.
Yeah. It's
Or-
like, hey, I
Great
want the.
value,
yeah, great-
Robin.
yeah,
they
he's a
they
great
spell it
value
with a
buyer.
Y,
It's like I
so
want.
it's different.
You tell your mom, hey, I want Robin. We've got Robin at home, and that's the Robin you come home to.
And so they've got some interesting characters, and
Like when you want a smoothie, your parents say, "We got a smoothie at home." I'm sorry. Come home for your smoothie.
Kayla's parents are in the audience. That's why, and they make smoothies. So, Uncle Henry, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Well, Scotty, it's been such a pleasure having you ruin my weekend with every which way but loose.
Oh, just wait till Damnation Alley.
Is the sequel We Get Loose?
No, it's,
Is that movie where we get loose?
no,
Because that's how they should have done that
it's
sequel.
any which way we can.
Loosely.
There's no loose.
No loose.
where
Get rid
Clint
of the
Eastwood
loose.
falls in love with another woman, and
Has another monkey.
this time they go
Well-
north instead
Well,
of west.
his
or
girlfriend
east.
his girlfriend's in the sequel, so
Oh, she is.
His girlfriend or the
It's
lady?
Sandra Locke.
She's in the sequel.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go look.
And he gives a report.
It was, yeah. It'll be an angry report.
Why do you do this to me, Scotty White?
I'll just send you home with a couple beers. Go ahead and just do it today.
I would not recommend this movie, which is rare for me because I pick them. I wouldn't recommend this one.
No.
No.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't. No. I made it through.
It's an interesting, weird divergent to Eastwood's career. I'm curious, like, what would have happened if he never got this script, if we wouldn't have got the string of weird movies he did in the 80s.
Only interesting to me because I'm a Burt Reynolds fan, and it's like a knockoff.
Right.
That's
It's-
the only interesting thing.
So this is
about
a
it.
Wish Burt Reynolds film.
Yeah.
So I almost think that Burt Reynolds set this all up.
Yeah, because why would
No,
they have to go through
there's
Clint
a-
to get to him?
There's
I mean,
a famous story that Arnold Schwarzenegger set up Sylvester Stallone to be in Don't Shoot or Don't Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Stop or My Mom Won't Shoot.
yeah,
Will Shoot.
yep.
Which has a scene where Sylvester Stallone is in a diaper, and it's terrible. It is
Yeah.
a terrible, terrible movie. Don't
Yeah,
ever watch
awful
it.
movie.
Never on. We're never doing it on the podcast. But yeah, I have limits. It's one of those. It's
You
just
have limits.
I
okay.
do. I like. Look, I'll put you through a monkey movie. We don't need to see Stallone in a diaper. We just
Okay,
don't. Because
all
there's
I appreciate
No-
that.
He wears a diaper?
yeah there's a
Yeah.
the movie's about his mom's played by Estelle Getty, so from Golden Girls.
Which one?
Sophia,
Okay.
Oldest
The old-
one.
Okay,
old-
okay,
old-
okay, okay. The old mom.
old mom. Yeah,
She's
she plays
fantastic.
his mom, and he's a cop. He's a badass cop, and she's just coming to visit and getting in the way and like washing his guns and stuff, and she gets involved in like witnessing a murder, and shenanigans happen. But he has this dream where he's saving the day, but he's in a diaper and like
So you actually see him
right,
in a
and
diaper.
the women are
in his
around him
dream.
are like trying to change him, as in like change who he is, and it's the
Oh, it's metaphorical.
yeah, it's because it's a dream.
Oh,
and
how
it's-
deep.
Horrifying.
Yeah, it's deep but awful.
I saw this movie in the theaters, going, "What the hell?"
But if you see him from behind, you can tell how old he is by his back.
You probably can. Just like that wrestler that wore the mask. He's hiding nothing.
But the joke is the
and he's
story
wear
is
high-waisted pants.
that Schwarzenegger talked him into doing this movie because Schwarzenegger had a string of comedy hits,
Yes.
and it was like, you need to do comedies. This is funny. This will help your career. It did not. It did not. So.
What did help Stallone was Spy Kids 3D Game Over now.
Stallone's now got a rally series with his daughters coming to Paramount Plus. The Stallones. I guess his wife's in
Okay.
it too.
Okay.
So I didn't know he had that many kids.
How many kids does he have?
3 girls. He
Oh,
had a
feel
son
that.
too who passed away, I think, of a drug overdose.
Oh.
And when he was in his early 20s.
All right. Way to bring us down at the end.
Sorry, that's my job. Just bring things down. This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Goodbye.
Bye.